Next chart up is Beyond Meat, and we're on the daily time frame right now, closing beneath the 10 moving average. This is exactly what we want to see. Beyond Meat is dying, but it is not dead, folks. It's not dead yet. Now, if you listened to me in my previous videos, you know that Beyond Meat above $100 is just sell, 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 sell. In an expanding economy, disruptor type businesses like Beyond Meat, Carvana, Wayfair, CarMax, all of these type of businesses that don't generate profit but generate a lot of year-over-year growth, people swarm to those kind of businesses, right, in an expanding economy because credit is very available and EPS growth doesn't become very important because there are many other companies that are doing very, very well. Well, in a declining economy or a contracting economy, EPS growth becomes very, very important and credit becomes very, very tight. And companies like Beyond Meat cannot survive, right? These are companies that do not generate revenue significant enough to generate a profit every quarter or even at the end of the year. So, they run on being able to borrow to sustain operations. And that is a, death sentence in an economy that we are going into with 30 million jobs being gone right now. Beyond Meat will not be able to survive if this carries on, 12 or 16 months. It's going to be devastating for the stock price of Beyond Meat. So in my last video, I was quite emotional because I understand the macro and I just didn't understand why it was rallying on news that for all intents purposes was ridiculous because the company just doesn't have the cash to even make it happen. This is a company that just had to go out and lend $150 million, borrow $150 million, right? Because they basically don't have any cash to sustain operations for the next year and a half that this economy could be, horrible, a dismal economy. Now, in the next earnings report, you're going to see that it's going to either be a barely beat or it's going to be a bad miss. We know the next coming up in July, September, whichever, that's going to be horrible. That will be a disaster earnings report. So right now, in Beyond Meat, you just have to really be patient. And I can't wait to see Beyond Meat at $35, at $20, because I understand how much money that I'm going to be, making by being in the stock until that time. I've made so much money on Beyond Meat. I put out maybe 3 or 4 videos on Beyond Meat. My account is where it is right now because of Beyond Meat and how I think this is the greatest opportunity for a downside move probably in the market right now. There's some other ones that I can point out to, but when you want to talk about a stock that could go to $4, $5, $6, below 20, Beyond Meat is up there. It's really, really up there because, again, this is a company that has a business with literally no moat. There's no protection in regards of anybody coming into this business. Now let's zoom in on the price action here because that's what you're here to learn more about. And when you look at Beyond Meat, this is basically like a viper bite. Think of it as a vice grip, right? And it doesn't let go. Beyond Meat has just basically capitulated to my 10 and 25 moving average strategy, and that's why we're going to continue to sell calls as long as the price action continues to justify those that kind of strategy. Now, of course, you can go ahead and just simply buy puts here, but again, Beyond Meat has a tendency to straggle. So if you're someone who is buying weekly puts or monthly puts, you can get sometimes caught in a range, right, where it's struggling to make a move. But I don't think those days are coming back anytime soon. It's been quite directional over the last several months, and I think it's going to continue to be directional. And traders who aren't partial to either direction are going to be able to make a lot of money in Beyond Meat. You're going to see a lot of news come out. You're going to see all kinds of things come out on Beyond Meat as it trends lower, as they continue to do whatever they can to sustain the price. But McDonald's is still out there. You still have a few catalysts for the stock supposedly out there that are, out there to basically kill the shorts. I just don't think the McDonald's deal is going to happen. Based on what happened in Canada with the closing of the testing out there, and then it was an expansion, and then they closed that one again. I just don't think it worked out. And that shows in the Starbucks deal. McDonald's and Starbucks are competitors. Obviously, yes, you can distribute your product to multiple outlets, but I believe that, when it comes to McDonald's and the kind of pricing power that they've looked at and been able to pursue, particularly in beef or in potato, they are like, you either do business with us or you don't do business with anyone else. That's what I've seen in the past from McDonald's. And the fact that they went to Starbucks tells me that the McDonald's deal didn't work out. Again, I'm, not employed by the business, right? I'm not employed by Beyond Meat. I'm just basically an outsider trying to make some money on this. And again, we've got Beyond Meat below the 10 moving average. We need to continue to see the trend going lower. We need to continue to see guys getting killed on the intraday move, right? Because that's what we loved. I love seeing that shit. I love this, hey, we're going to open up higher and it just doesn't work, right? Because every time it does that, that's another 1,000 to 2,000 traders who say, hey, I'm not going to touch Beyond Meat ever again. All right. Understand that the people who are in Beyond Meat right now are not the people who were in here at 125, 130 and got blown out. All right. This is a different group of traders. And every time it burns people out, that's, a smaller and smaller potential crowd for the next run. That's why this run is so much weaker than any previous run before it. Right. I mean, you just don't have the same fanfare. In fact, on this most recent run in Beyond Meat, it did not make the Robintrack top 10. Robintrack is basically a website that tracks Robinhood demand for top 10 equities in a particular time frame. And it didn't hit the 7-day chart, didn't hit the 1 month, not at all. So Beyond Meat is clearly losing demand among Robinhood traders, among traders who basically, don't have the education or the skill set necessary to really win at this game, right? To really win. And that's what we want to see. We want to see them avoiding this play, because if they avoid the play, that's less liquidity, that's less volume, and of course that's weaker price action. All right. So again, we can go on and on about the balance sheet, but at the end of the day, it's about valuation. It's about COVID-19. It's about the lack of demand in restaurants. It's about, falling. It's just a lot of things working against Beyond Meat. It's a lot of things working Beyond Meat against it. So this is why we're going to position ourselves to make, or at least I am, to make a lot of money as Beyond Meat goes to 80 to 70 to 60. But let's see what happens in earnings. I'm not going to go through earnings. I will sell into earnings. And yes, I might miss out on the opportunity to, make a lot of money on the downside, right? But and when I say that, I mean in terms of a gap down, right? I might miss out on that, but don't even think that I'm going to miss out on the rest of the move lower. Even if it might be a bounce here and there, you eventually will get that capitulation move if the earnings report is disastrous. Now, if the earnings is good, now we're going to be looking at, okay, do we try to attempt to go to the high and break the high? If we do break the high on the earnings report, you still sell that. After, of course, looking at the price action, right? You still sell that because we know that the July number is going to be really, really bad. July, August, whichever date that's going to come out. We know that one's going to be it's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. So just multiple ways to play Beyond Meat. It's your boy Sal. Again, keep in mind of that 8301 area. I think we lose a lot of people if we lose 8301 again. Potential lows could easily be tapped if we hit that 8301 level. We've already destroyed the trend going lower. Now we just need to follow through. That's all we need to see here is more and more follow through. Let's move up to the 4-hour chart here. As you see, we need just continued follow through now through this 25 moving average. We're already below the 60. We need to break through that 40 RSI and just kind of continue to show that capitulation action that we're clearly seeing here on the candlesticks. There was some hesitation for a couple days, but sure enough, there just wasn't any support left. And again, that's because this stock has burned so many people in the past. It just don't have the strength as it did previously. It's your boy Sal. Until next time, take care.